Hey, what's up? It's Comic95 the Savior, and I said I was not going to address this again, but I was like, you know what? Why not? It's an easy video to make. People are stupid. It's gonna make me money, and I'm gonna actually link it to this other video so that this way I never have to address this again. But then again, maybe I will. Excuse me, my voice is hoarse. I've had the AC on all night. I am going to address this. So, I made a video like a long time ago, like I think more than 5 years ago at this point, or like 4 years ago, I think it was like 5 years ago, whatever, talking about the Asian man, black woman community, also known as AMBW community. I talked about why I do not like Asian men, and as always, people don't watch the video, they don't read the blog post, they don't read my comments, and instead people come into the comment section and they want you to read what they have to say, but they don't listen to what you had to say or read what you wrote. I'm not even going to bother to explain all of the details in the video, and I'm not going to make this video an hour long as much as I love to. I'm going to keep it short by my standards, meaning we're going to stay at no more than 30 minutes for this video, hopefully less. I did not make the video where I'm insulting Asian people, talking about why I don't like them and how they look. That was not the basis of the video. I talked about why I will never fetishize after them, put them on a pedestal, whatever, and I will never ever be inside of a position where I'm inside of a group where it's like 99% black women and 1% Asian men, and the men that are in those groups to begin with are normally, I don't know how to explain it, men full of baggage, unattractive, short, have children, no career, everything bad you could possibly think of. And you will see black women just throwing themselves at these men and really just trying to fulfill this fantasy that they have of what they want an Asian man to act like. And also keep in mind that I'm really focusing on Japan, but this has to do with Asian men, even Asian Americans living in the US. I dated an Asian person for the first time, a Korean man to be specific, when I lived in the US. And while he wasn't really Asian American, he was living in the US. He migrated, immigrated, whatever the fuck you want to call him, until I can know the difference. I ain't going to Google right now, bitches. But yeah. And literally everything that I said kind of had to do with it. I was more ignorant back then. I was like 19 years old, but I was dumb. And I remember looking back on what he was saying to me, and I brushed it off because he was Asian. And that's the problem. He was literally fetishizing after me and assuming that I was going to have a certain body, look a certain way, act a certain way, based off of an online dating profile where I had no inappropriate pictures, I had nothing inappropriate written inside my bio, I said nothing inappropriate to this man, but it was assumed that because I'm a black woman, I'm going to show up half naked, I'm going to be twerking on you, I'm going to wear sexy lingerie, just all of this weird shit that he had made up inside of his mind based off of watching, you know what, corn. And so, again, I ignored all of this stuff because I was in the same category that I'm talking about. I belonged to this dumb community, and honestly, I didn't even know the community existed. I thought that my idea, if you wanted to date outside my race, somebody besides a white person or Hispanic person, was pretty taboo. In the black community, we didn't really talk about Asians, definitely not in a positive way, especially from a female perspective. But even for black men, it's become more popular nowadays, especially with black men that are kind of, alternative, so to speak, for lack of a better term. The emos, the people raised in strictly religious Christian families, people that lived around white people. But for most black people, male or female, especially from a major city, you don't think about dating anybody besides a black, white, or a Hispanic woman. Asian women just don't come into play. Asian men definitely don't. We have tons of negative stereotypes about them. And it's not just stereotypes based off what we see on TV. They literally run our community. They run the Chinese, see-through kitchens or whatnot. The, beauty supply, the hair salons, the hair salons, the beauty supply stores, the nail salons, places like that black people frequent to. They dominate it. It's a monopoly inside, bad neighborhoods, the hood, essentially. And how do they treat us? Like shit. So we don't have good experiences with them. First-hand experience, not what we saw on the news, not a friend of a friend story. That's not our situation. Now, I'm not going to get into that. I made an entire separate video on that, and I'll talk about that later. But what I will say is this. Let me bring everything back to what I was trying to get at. I made the video talking about how it's hard to date because even if you talk to people as nice as possible, just turning down a date, ignoring somebody's message, people that sent you messages, saying they want to meet you, calling you cute, planning dates, they'll send you racist messages, hurtful messages, insulting your looks and appearance, talking about your hair, your skin complexion, your race, etc. And it just shocked me. And honestly, I've dealt with much more racism dating in Japan than I did in the US. And that's hard to say, considering how white people can be, but I'm just going to keep it real. Most of my interactions with white people, especially when it comes to online dating, have actually been positive. I've had a few weirdos, but for the most part, no. Asians, I can't say the same thing. Well, I can. For the most part, yes, of course, most people are respectful. But I find that a lot more people have no problem with sending you racist, hateful messages, etc., even in real life. In fact, things have updated since that video. I talked about this before, how I remember being on a date with my, then boyfriend, later fiance, and I literally it was like two Japanese guys together, and you could try to give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's say that they were high school students. They were much taller than I am. They were nearly grown, okay? High school, college, whatever they were literally laughing at me because my legs and my feet are tan. Now look at me and my light-skinned self. Now if I'm having people tease and make fun of me for being dark and dirty, it's so ironic seeing dark-skinned black women trying to give anecdotal advice, talking about how they're married to a Japanese or a Korean man, or how they work in Korea and they've never dealt with race. What? It is so funny because black people get so defensive over Asians when they are the majority of the world, which is why you can shut the fuck up for any of you biracial, half Asian, half black people that want to get your little feelings hurt, or for any Asian people watching this offended by what I said. I remember I made a video a while back and somebody got upset because I was talking about just how you can laugh at us for our complexion, our appearance, our features. We could do the same thing back for you. And I gave details. I got specific. I talked about their hands, their dick size, their eyes, everything. And I also talked about our nose, our mouth, everything else too. So it's okay. You can sit back and laugh when I'm talking about our appearance as black people. But if I talk about the same things that we could find funny on you as an Asian person, now you have an issue. And this person claims to have been, Chinese, Jamaican. I don't give a shit about what you are. And oh my God, this is a whole other video. I want to talk about this later on. But it reminds me of this woman. Not even trying to get on her. In fact, I'm going to leave out some of the details. She was inside of a safe black space. Y'all know what I'm talking about. For black people here in Japan. And had the audacity to bring her biracial ass over here and complain about black people. Complaining about their experiences dealing with Japanese people. Now, I ain't ever leave no post inside, this forum. But it just blew my mind how we can't even have safe spaces. I have no problem with biracial people identifying as black, but the problem that I have is that I won't say they'll never. A lot of biracial people are not loyal to being black. They want to play both sides. And I get it, you are both. And for that reason, this is why I kind of do agree. I have mixed feelings. When I have my children, they will be both black and Asian. But I don't want my kids to ever be like these type of biracial people. If your feelings are hurt, you're too ignorant to understand the experiences of black people, and you're too caught in your feelings, you're too caught in your Japanese side, then maybe don't join a group that is made for black people. Since you are Asian and you identify with that as well, why are you even inside of our safe space to begin with? You don't need this then. Take your black issues over to your little Japanese forum, etc., and see what they have to say to your issues there. That's how dumb and ignorant you sound, bringing your privileged ass over into our group. It pisses me off so much. And so let me explain. I understand that this is not everyone, but I feel like a lot of biracial people struggle with that. It's an identity crisis, situation. You look more black. You're treated like a black person by white, Asian, Hispanic, other people. You're seen as black. Totally understand that. But at the same time, unfortunately for you, you are not 100% black. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you need to understand that because you are not, you need to become educated on why people feel and experience the things they do. I am a black woman, but I'm not dark skinned. I also don't have 4-type hair. Look at my hair. I cannot personally relate to and understand experiences of people with 4-type hair and people with dark skin. I've had similar situations. I've had similar thoughts. I can read about it, I can listen to it, and I can learn what it's like. I can educate myself. I don't have to open up my mouth and say, well, I don't think that's really nice of you guys because some of us black people have 3 type hair, so I don't think there should be, I think there should be an even representation. No, I understand that the majority of black people do not look like me. And for that reason, I am totally okay with 3 types and light skins taking a back seat to people that have dark skin and 4 type hair. Because for every struggle that I have, it's 100 times worse for someone with 4 type hair, especially 4C dark skin, and larger features than what I have. I am aware of that. It's not an Olympics. And if I don't like that, guess what? I can start my own little light skin space. Shoot, I can join a biracial mixed girl group. Because even though y'all gonna act stupid, like y'all can't tell, if I were to tell you that I was half white, you wouldn't bat an eye. You believe me. Okay? I got people thinking that I'm half Japanese on here and in real life. But that's all a whole nother story. So let me bring it back to the topic. People are thinking that they like caught me in some sort of lie or something, or that, I need to go back and, apologize, change what I said, because now I'm married. I'm married to a Japanese man. And I literally explained it in that video. Nowhere in the video do I say I hate Asian men. Nowhere in the video do I say I'm never going to date a Japanese man. I'm never going to do whatever. I'm going to leave Japan. If I felt that way, why would I stay in this country? Why would I continue to date Japanese men? Why would I continue to work for Japanese people? Why would I teach them? Why would I take care of their children? That would make 0 sense. Y'all comprehension skills are shit. Not to mention, if you just willingly admit it that you refuse to listen to the video and then leave a comment, oh, I'm sorry you feel the way, I can't believe a beautiful black woman, whatever. You didn't even listen to or watch what I had to say. And now you want me to waste my time arguing back and forth with you in the comment section, shit that you could just listen to and have answered for you. And I'm sorry if hearing the truth hurts. Welcome to adulthood. Welcome to real life. And this is what I was getting at. Black women, especially dark-skinned black women, would lose their shit on me if I were to make a video talking about my own anecdotal experiences and tell you, I don't understand what's wrong with dark-skinned women. White men love me. Black men love me. I can't even relate to all of that shit. Dark-skinned black women complaining about black men not liking them here in Japan, not being able to date them. I got black men that have Asian women that want to cheat on their girl to be with me, okay? I've had tons of opportunities to date black men, both in the U.S. and here. And you want to know why I don't give my little anecdotal advice and I speak in general, broad terms? Not to make you feel good because you have dark skin and 4 type hair. It's because I recognize people like me because of my phenotype. I can pass for being biracial. I have literally had black men message me on Instagram, Twitter, and Tinder, and even pairs, talking about how I'm their type and they love half Japanese girls, whatever. And I'm like, I'm not even half. I recognize my hair is short right now. I went through some crap. I have long hair. I have good hair. I have light skin. I have features that can make me pass for, being more desirable, being biracial, being exotic, being whatever. I recognize that. I know that that does not represent how most black men feel about black women. I am the exception and not the rule. Likewise, I have a sister who is married to a white man. Does that destroy racism? Does that mean because I have, 4 biracial nieces and nephews with blonde hair and blue eyes, looking like Logic, that I don't understand racism because of my anecdotal experience? Well, racism doesn't exist. No, white people are wonderful to blacks. Look at my sister. Look at my nephew. That would piss you off as a black person, would it not? So why the fuck are you dark-skinned hoes over here? I'm sorry, I'm saying exactly how it is, defending this shit. I literally had mostly dark-skinned women. I ain't surprised by men. I'm used to them cooning. Dark-skinned women leaving me messages, leaving me comments, sending me emails, etc., complaining about my video and telling me about their story, linking to their own YouTube channel with their family. And I'm like, do you hear how crazy you sound right now? I ain't even bothered, entertaining that shit. I deleted comments, to be honest with you. I'm like, what? Do you hear yourself? They would have a fit if I did that with a white man. But now here I am, giving my light-skinned story, which, let me explain this to you a little bit better for y'all that don't get it. If I'm having these problems as a light-skinned black woman with racism, I'm not talking about having a bad date. I'm talking about people being racist towards me, calling me the N-word, calling me racial slurs, laughing at me because of my dark skin. If I'm dealing with this, imagine what you would deal with as a dark-skinned black woman, as a woman with 4-type hair. What? Then, not to mention, another thing that I found really interesting too, people trying to change the subject of the video, be like, oh, like, how you gonna talk about Asian men, whatever, and you got bangs, you got straight hair, whatever, and it's like, I live in Asia. When Asian people move to the US, what do? They copy the hairstyles of who? White people. Look at Asian YouTubers, Asian Americans in particular. What do they oftentimes have? Blonde hair, they wear contact lenses, they curl their hair, everything is unnatural for them. Why? Is it because they hate themselves? Not necessarily. But it's called assimilation. You do whatever is in style is popular where you are. I don't normally wear shirts that are up to my fucking chin, but when I'm in Japan I do. You want to know why? Because it's called assimilation. I don't want to stand out and look like some whore walking down the street with my chest all hanging out, etc. Every once in a while I kind of do my own thing, but being realistic, I normally try my best not to. And when I do, I honestly do feel a bit self-conscious because I know that it's not appropriate to wear here. Same thing goes with music. People do what the majority does, wherever they are. That's just life and natural. Also, let me add this to you. Actually, bangs came from Africa. It's not an Asian hairstyle. It widely became popular in Asia because most Asian people have bone straight hair. It adds some volume and dimension, gives them a way to switch up their look. And until recently, like the past 20, 30 years, it was very difficult for Asians to even curl their hair. I'm not talking about your one-off example where you know somebody Asian with curly hair. I actually met 2 people that have naturally curly hair. But it's rare. I've dated several people with wavy hair. But generally speaking, most Asians don't have, they normally have thinner hair. And they normally have hair, not thinner, but fine, which kind of falls to that category. Most Asians have fine hair and they normally have straight hair. When Asians go to other countries, specifically in Europe, they oftentimes try to blend in. They change the way that they dress, change the way that they do their hair, the way that they do their makeup, everything. And there's nothing wrong with that. Not to mention, this is a fallacious argument. What the fuck does how I'm dressed have to do with the racism that I'm experiencing? That'd be the equivalent of a white person coming to you, which this happens too, might add another fallacious argument. How are you going to complain about racism and you got in a Hispanic woman's weave inside your hair? You're wearing white women weave. Or Asian women weave. You got blonde in your hair. You contouring your nose. Oh, you don't want to hear that as a dark-skinned black woman. So now you see how stupid you sound? Maybe you don't because you that damn dumb. But you get what I'm trying to say? Being married to a white person, dating a white person, having a white friend does not get rid of the fact that racism exists. Me being married to a Japanese man does not change my feelings on it. I recognize, even when I go out in public, I can see people staring at us. I get nasty looks. I get people giggling, laughing. I get all of that type of stuff, even now. Especially when my hair is natural, keeping it real with you. Are most people thinking bad, negative things about you? No, I talked about that. But a lot of people, unfortunately, do. Racism does exist. And if you're a teacher in Japan, you definitely see it with your students when you have biracial students or dark-skinned students, etc. It's not just in my mind. My issue is not with Asian people and how they look. It's how they act, how they treat you, and how scary it is that you could be talking to somebody and everything seems totally fine, but if for whatever reason you decide to break up with them, or in my case, I literally had to cancel a date with someone. He went from that to stalking, harassing me, leaving hateful comments on my social media, and this from Tinder. It scared the shit out of me. And it was scary to think somebody that I gave my Line account was a racist. So this same person that's calling me a nigger, calling me all of this crap, you were willing to sleep with me, you would have sex with me, but inside your heart you feel this way towards me and my race? That's scary to think of. Never put you on a pedestal. I can never do something like that. What? And the thing that makes me even sadder is that most of the people inside this Asian man, black woman community seems to be dark-skinned women with self-hate and other issues, etc. And while they never want to say it, the ultimate goal is to have a biracial child. And so don't get me wrong, for the dumb people that can't hear, I did not say all dark-skinned women have low self-esteem and want a biracial kid. That's not what I'm getting at. But I'm going to keep it real. The vast majority of people inside this group, yeah, it's the truth. A bunch of self-hate, bunch of fetishizing going on. And most of the men inside this group don't feel the same way about you. They will gladly leave your ass for a blonde-haired, blue-eyed Becky. You're as good as they can get, so they're going to settle with you, or you're as easy as they come, so they're going to fuck you. And a lot of you all are dating guys that would never marry you. They just want to sleep with you. Don't be fooled by how many men will talk to you. I said this before. What men will F is low. Men will sleep with anyone. It's all about convenience and easy access. They will lie to you, say how pretty you are, how good you know what is, your cat is just the best known, and it's not. You're easy. And same thing goes for being in Asia. There's women here that think that, Japanese men love them, and they don't. They like your body, and specifically you have large breasts, you have a big butt, but you're not cute. And that's why you'll never get to the married stage with these guys. The same men that you are defending would never defend you. And as I said before, it's really funny that all the people leaving these comments or whatnot, notice that they are the ones running their AMBW channel or whatever. Interesting. And that's why I said I never have any interest in making that. In fact, I have kind of an interesting situation. My husband actually wanted to do a channel together with me. I talked about it on Patreon, and I proved that, so I never got to defend myself on that. However, I personally have mixed feelings on it. I would like to do a channel together, but not based on the fact that we're a biracial, interracial couple, or whatever. I wanted to make normal videos together, if I ever did something like that. I'm not going to get into that. And I like watching videos of interracial couples. I enjoy it. But my problem is that it's crazy seeing that the majority, not all, the majority of people that have these channels are out of touch with reality. They're too wrapped up inside their fetishization, or whatever you want to call it, with their man or their woman, that now they've become blind. Asians aren't racist. My daughter is Asian. My husband is. I didn't know your daughter and husband represents all of Asia. And you might say, well, I didn't know the people that you date represents all of Asia. Actually, I've dated quite a lot of people. I've worked with quite a lot of people. I've befriended quite a lot of people. I live in real life. I watch the news. I read blogs. I read forums. I think it's pretty easy to get a general idea of what most people think and what they're like from doing that. Likewise, that'd be like me dismissing your experience of racism in the U.S. So I can say, well, have you dated every white man? Have you befriended every white woman? Have you worked at every white company? Well, then racism doesn't exist. It's just your experience. White people don't call people the N-word. In fact, I'll be honest with you, in real life, I ain't ever had a white person call me the N-word before. So does that mean that it doesn't exist? Does that mean that white people can't be racist because only the N-word is now the only thing they have to say to make them racist? Is that the way that it works now? Do you hear how dumb you sound? So I'm done. I'm about to make it at 30 minutes. All I gotta say is this. I never said that I was not going to date an Asian man. I literally have been dating Asian men even during that video. I was explaining why I don't worship them. I don't put them on a pedestal. I don't say, I love Asian men. Oh my God, they're so perfect, whatever. There's good and bad things about them just like anybody else. But I'll be honest, I feel like there's a lot more racist Asian men than there are, even black colorists or white people that are racist. I don't feel sorry for what I said. I don't take back what I said. Asians are literally the majority of the world. We constantly talk about white people, but I'm sorry to break it to you. White people are actually minorities. That sounds crazy to say, but it's the truth. Black people are minorities in both Japan and the US. But in Japan, white people are also minorities. In the world, white people are minorities in comparison to Asians. There's billions of Asians. They make up the majority of the world. Almost everyone in the world is Asian. Think about that. That's crazy. I'm sorry. I said what the fuck I said. You didn't listen to what I said. And you didn't read what I said. You wanted to get offended. You wanted to argue. And there's nothing brag-worthy about saying, I'm not going to listen to all that shit. I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to read all that. Okay, so you're enjoying being ignorant and then having an opinion? And this is one of the scary things about social media. We're about to pass 30-minute mark. People jump on bandwagons. Whatever one person says or believes, they agree with it. If somebody leaves a comment saying that I said some shit that I ain't never said, they'll agree with it because the comment exists there and somebody claims that I said or did something. It's that easy. Somebody can make a blog post, a forum about you, anything. And because it exists there, people will believe it, add into it, etc. Like, people literally just don't have a life. I'm not taking back what I said about the majority. In fact, I don't care if Asians really were seen as a minority, which they do pass as one, being in places like Europe and in the US. I don't care which country we're in. If you and your race do racist shit towards me and treat me like shit, me and my people, even if some of my people a little bit, fucking confused and don't understand what's going on, I will not hold back and say what the fuck I need to and got to say. My goal is not to fight racism with racism. I literally gave examples in the video. I didn't edit that very well, and it was loud music, and everything was scrolling up and down. I didn't know what I was doing. I was brand new to YouTube back then. My dad gave me some grace, people. Mic was fucked up. I was using my phone back then. But you have to understand, if you actually listened to what I was saying, read what I was saying, I was just explaining how scary it is dating people here in Asia. Because a lot of them think poorly of you. They're racist. They just want to experience effing you. They're using you. And if that's not enough, they're racist towards you. I'm sorry, but me rejecting a date with you, or even me calling you a name, saying, hey, and I don't do this, but give an example, if I were to call you fat, that doesn't excuse you to say racial slurs to me, etc. Because now you're not just insulting me, you're talking about my entire race. And it's scary to see that these people will go on to date, message, or befriend another black person after you. That's scary. It would be scary in reverse in the U.S. for it to be with a white man. I'm giving white people as an example. Sorry, white people, to put y'all in this, because apparently a lot of niggas is dumb. They don't understand what you're saying until you give them a actual experience that they could probably relate to, such as white people. And it's really funny because I saw dark-skinned people, especially dark-skinned women, giving their anecdotal experiences. Oh, I've never had an Asian man do whatever. How would you feel if a black woman talked about, I never had a white man say this, I never had a white man do whatever? You would be pissed off. That's exactly how you sound to me right now. You can live in Asia without dating or marrying a Japanese person. There's actually plenty of even white people that do that here. Been living in Japan for 10, 20 plus years. Decided to marry another foreigner. That's so dumb. People give us, if you don't like it, then go back to the U.S. Okay, well then how about for you black people that are, so into this whole black love, black king, black queen movement? Then move your black ass to Africa then. You're not American. You hate America, right? You don't want to be an American. You don't like white people. You don't want to be an American then, right? Move to Africa. Oh, you don't want to hear that though, right? Bitch can't even choose a country. That sounds crazy, doesn't it? So you have to marry a white person and have white friends to be in the U.S.? I didn't know that was a requirement. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it would make sense if you really don't like Japan and you find everybody here to be racist things are really that bad. Then man, maybe you should, have a better life in your home country somewhere else. I do agree with that part of it. But that's not what people are saying. They're trying to clown me. And it's like, it's not working because what you're saying makes absolutely no sense. Because it's also not what I said. I can acknowledge that good people do exist within that race. Look at it back in the day. If it was not for white people, black people wouldn't even be free right now. But do we have to pretend like because abolitionists exist and real Christians exist, that there were not evil and bad white people back in the day? No. Both can coexist at the same time. We can acknowledge there were tons of really evil white people, and there were also a lot of really good white people that never believed in slavery, never owned slaves, wanted to abolish it, fought for our rights and freedom, and died for us. Dealt with being an outcast or being a nigger lover. Did shit for us that your own ancestors couldn't and wouldn't do. I went there. We can acknowledge that both extremes exist. We can also be honest and say most white people were on the bad side. I didn't say all, but a lot, if not most, were. Let me give you another example. Anybody offended? I can be honest and say most black people, male or female, I went there, are colorists. Yep, it's the truth. There's a lot of discrimination. It's exactly why I benefit from it. Black men that say they don't date black women, most of them will date me. Why? Because I don't fall into the category of what would be seen as the typical black woman. Prior to me now being married, I was single. I had no children. I had an education. I had my own place. I'm the right height. I have the right body type. I have the right hair texture, the right skin complexion, the right features. I have what they want. I'm black, entirely black. But I check off those boxes of not being entirely black at the same time. Do you see what I'm trying to say? I can recognize I'm the exception to the rule. I don't have to go on YouTube saying, oh, black men love black women. It's just that y'all busted. And there could be some truth to that. So when people complain about it, it's just because you don't look good. But I can be real. I've seen very beautiful women that are black. Very beautiful women with 4-type hair. With very dark brown complexions. And they don't benefit the same way that I do. They have to prove that they're feminine, prove that they're as good as a biracial girl, as good as a white woman, as good as a Hispanic woman, etc. And it still ain't enough for a black man. I don't have to give my own little anecdote advice and pretend like because something doesn't relate to me, it doesn't happen. I've never had any experiences with students making fun of me and teasing me as a teacher. But I can acknowledge I've seen it and I've heard of it happening to dark-skinned teachers. Just because I can't relate on a personal level doesn't mean I have to live in ignorance and not become educated on what life is like. I am not Asian, but I am aware of struggles that Asians have being in the U.S., getting made fun of for their eyes, for their skin complexion, for the food they eat, etc. I've read stories about Asian people hiding their lunches because they were afraid of their, friends seeing that their lunch had a bad smell or that they were eating, sushi or whatever, crap like that. I can educate myself and understand what they go through. I watched a video of an Asian woman was talking about how disgusted she was. She went to Walgreens or something, and there was these 2 white brothers together, and he had told his brother that there's an Asian in the other aisle and to go check her out. It made her feel sick. I can educate myself on how other people feel. I don't have to live my life in ignorance and say, well, I've never treated anyone that way. I've never seen that before. So what you're saying is not true. It's also okay to acknowledge that exceptions are not the rule. Knowing some people, seeing some people does not represent all or most people. Don't play dumb with me. If black people were to be honest with themselves, and I'm going there, and I'm going to end it here. Most black people have never had a legitimate experience in real life with racism from a white person. Most have not. I went there. You have not. You've seen videos online. You've seen news stories. But you have not had a personal, real experience where somebody directly said or did something racist to you that was white. Most of you have not. That's facts. Most of the racism that you dealt with came from you reading a book on history, being on social media, and possibly dating. Online in particular. Being in a forum or something. Most. Not everyone. Most. Keyword niggas. Most. Now by that standard, do we say that racism doesn't exist? Can we also acknowledge just because people don't say something doesn't mean that they're not thinking something? I can acknowledge that even although somebody might not say something to me, I can talk about how I notice people react differently when I enter their vicinity, being in my old neighborhood. Locking a door when I park next to them, when I'm walking near their car, watching me and seeing where I'm going inside of a store. Little passive things like that. Do you have to directly call me a nigger? Or say racial slurs and stereotypes to me, etc.? No, but I can see how you're treating me. Okay, that's kind of one of the experiences that you have here in Japan, too. People don't normally say anything to you. But does that, and we're not going to get into the whole fallacious argument because I know some black coon going to come in and say, well, and I made a video about this too, might also add. But I know somebody going to come in and change the subject and be like, well, I'd rather have the racism that happens in Japan than in the U.S. We're not talking about that right now. I have another video on that topic. I'm talking about the fact that racism does exist. It's not about which you prefer or, whatever. I'm talking about the fact that it exists. Everything is not blunt. Everything is not just the N-word. It's like the, whatever we're going to call it, for racism, for everybody, just being called the N-word. It's not the way that it works. So, So much more to say. All I want to say is this. Yes, I married a Japanese man. It's not a secret. If it was, why would I post a video about it? Why would I share pictures of him? I would keep it to myself. You all would never have to know. There's no secret there. I didn't say that I don't hate white people. I make tons of videos getting on them all the time. The majority of my subscribers are white people. Most of the people that are paying to watch my extra content on Patreon are white people. If I hated them, I would make it very clear and make my videos completely about being black in Japan. In fact, I get irritated because oftentimes when I talk about things, people assume, black and white, that I'm talking about my experience as a black person. It's like, no, I'm giving you general advice. I'm not talking about for black people or this. Like, for example, when I talk about racism, people always assume I'm talking about specifically towards black people. It's like, no, I'm normally talking about all foreigners. When I'm talking about just black people, it's in the title. If it's not in the title, I'm talking about foreigners in general. Foreigners is not synonymous with black foreigners, but because I'm a black woman, it's assumed that's what I'm going to be talking about, and that's not the case. So, I'm irritated with y'all. Long story short, yes, I married a Japanese man. I love him, not his race. Let me clarify that. I love my husband, and when I have children, I love my children. I do not love and worship Japanese men. I do not love and worship Asian men or women. That is what I'm saying. And if you're wondering, oh, well, you shouldn't. Well, most people do, especially part of these little communities. They get excited over any Asian person that they see. They don't care what they are as long as they are preferably East Asian. That is a fetish. That is a problem. And the people that you're doing that to, they don't do the same thing back in return for you. In fact, when you ask Asian people why they like black women, listen to what they have to say. If they're being honest, it's because of a fetish. And that's the reason why a lot of you all dating these Asian men never get married to them. Because they were just fetishizing after you. They love you enough to stick their dick inside of you, but not enough to put a ring on that finger. That's the truth. You're a fun, sexual partner. You're not wifey material. That's the reality. And when they do choose you, it's often because they're done having their fun, all of their baggage, they're older, they have children, no education. Because I'm also going to keep it real. I notice the majority of people that have such strong feelings about this get mad at me about this. Even for the ones that are married, what does your husband do for a living? Oh, so you married a loser. Okay, that's all I'm trying to get at. So while you're over here being so defensive, you literally fall into the category of what I want. What type of Asian men normally like black women? And this is not to make you feel bad about yourself for being a black woman. I'm explaining to you why you sound dumb trying to defend people that are racist towards you. Because for most of them, you're their second, third, fourth, or last choice. Most of them wouldn't marry you at all. They'd rather be single. I didn't make this video to make you feel bad about yourself. I'm trying to bring awareness and acknowledge the fact that, hey, I notice this race of people that I see my own race putting on a pedestal thinks poorly of us and treats us like trash. And that is scared that somebody that you're dating or haven't even gone out on a date with, just exchanging messages with, can suddenly become racist and angry because you don't reply to their message after 2.5 seconds. Or you decide that you're no longer interested for whatever reason. Didn't say anything bad to these people. Didn't send them hateful racist messages. Said, hey, I'm sorry I can't make it to whatever. Sorry I can't go. Sorry I don't have time, whatever. And I get met with not just a one single racist message, but people stalking me, harassing me, finding me on other social media sites. That's scary. And then it's crazy to see not only black people, but specifically dark-skinned women dismissing your story, giving no anecdotal experiences. And the reason why it matters is, I'm saying this because it's ironic. If I'm dealing with this, your situation would be even worse. Because if I'm a dark-skinned gorilla, ape, monkey, whatever N-word, what do you think you are going to be with your black ass? Did this even register inside your mind? Think about that. Not to mention, bitch, you talk about your experiences working in Korea. Well, yeah, you're at work. I've never had a student say any racist shit to me, duh. They're paying me money to teach them English. They don't want to get kicked out of the company and banned from, having another teacher teach them or whatever. In professional settings, yeah, generally speaking, I haven't really dealt with racism. Of course not. Doesn't mean that people aren't racist. They just know this is not an appropriate time to do this. Because I'm at work, or because I'm paying for a service. Your work requires you to act fake and phony. Both you and your customer. Put on fronts. Talk to these same people on the bus, on the train. Talk to these same people on dating apps. Talk to them walking out about at the mall and see how they treat you then. The same people that have no problem sitting across from you, laughing and joking with you, would stand up immediately if they sat next to you in the train and they didn't know you as their teacher. That's why and how you guys sound stupid saying all of this crap. Again, reading and comprehension is fundamental. And so is listening. If you're not going to listen to what I have to say, you're not going to watch all of it, you're not going to listen to all of it, you're not going to read all of that shit, then don't comment then, because you just sound dumb. Literally had somebody, I think I mentioned at the beginning of the video, leave a comment talking about, oh, didn't you marry a Japanese man? Yeah. That doesn't change the fact. So because I married a Japanese man, that means I put all Asians on a pedestal suddenly? And also, since when does being married to a Japanese man mean that I like all Asian people? As a white man marrying a black woman, now there's some fetishizing white men out there that do, but does that mean that you like all black women because you married one black woman? Does it? No, kind of doesn't. You like your black wife. I hope you do. You love her. But you don't like all black women. In fact, I'm also going to keep it real with you. A lot of times, black women that do end up marrying white guys, do they act like the so-called stereotypical black woman? Do they look like the stereotypical black woman? No. Okay. That kind of answers your question right there. Exception, not the rules. So, and again, liking, you should always love and like your partner. Their race is a whole other story. I don't do that. And beyond doing that, the video is really more of a cautionary thing where it's scary going into dating people, knowing that because you're dating outside your race, the same people that, laughing, smiling, joking with you, really seem to like you. They'll have sex with you. They'll get you pregnant. And here you are in your head. You were thinking all of these racist things about me. You were thinking poorly of me solely because of my race, not because of my personality, not because of anything you experience, but just because I look different from you. That is hurtful. That is scary. And it's even crazier and scary that as black people, instead of banding together and being like, wow, that's horrible, it's literally a huge divide. And the majority of people were offended by my video. And it brings me back to the fact that I made another video talking about Asian men don't like black women. And what happened? Black women came chiming in, didn't watch it, didn't read anything. And it's I literally talked in the video about stereotypes in Asia that black people have. Things that Asians think about black people, both in Asia and in the U.S. Because look at the U.S. I talked about this before. This should be a sign right there. Fuck my opinion. Look at the facts. Most Asian men, at this point in time, are aware that there are black women that are willing to date them. And they have decided they would rather be single than date you. Now, I don't know. Maybe it's just me being hateful. But something tells me, somebody that would rather be single than date you. Maybe most of them don't like you because you're black. I don't know. These men are literally crying on YouTube, on TikTok, in forums, on Instagram, etc., making posts about how they're not liked, not wanted, and this, that, and the other. They're only fetishized for, now because of the whole K-pop anime thing, but prior to all this stuff, it was even worse. About how Asian girls only date white men, they don't notice them. But they love white women. They want white girls to notice them. They make videos talking about how to get a white girlfriend, whatever, go to the gym, lift muscles, get buff, whatever. I've watched all of these videos, see what their thoughts are on these things and how to make themselves more appealing. And look at the comment sections. All of the comment sections on these videos is black women, specifically mostly dark-skinned black women, throwing themselves at these men. And I'm like, y'all just don't get it. Then I make a video addressing why these things don't work out. And black women get mad at me for acknowledging the truth. And it's nobody's embarrassing you. Because the people that you think are watching this video aren't. Asian men don't give a shit about some black hoe talking about her experiences with dating Asian men. You wanna know why? Because my video ain't even gonna make it inside your algorithm. It's very rare. The majority of my audience is white. Less than 15% of the people watching my videos are Asian. And a large percentage of that is just foreigners living abroad. There's even people that are foreigners pretending to be Japanese, Korean, whatever, that watch my videos and leave comments, etc. And your spelling not even right. So, and then I was like, I can see your IP address too, but that's all a whole other story. And so I'm thinking to myself, like, you have to acknowledge, I'll make another video about this, but you have to address and acknowledge that something exists and talk about solutions to understand why. And you have to understand why in order to actually make solutions to begin. So I was really trying to get at, I said that all wrong. If you don't know why people think poorly of you as a black person, how can you change that image? If anyone's saying, oh, it's not adopted, that whatever, then you shouldn't care about the first black person to do anything. You shouldn't care about the first black president, the first black person to do. It should matter then, right? Because the only reason why these titles matter is because you're trying to impress and prove yourselves to other races of people. It's not for black people. It's for white, Hispanic, and Asian people. Why? Because we have historically been held back and told that we are stupid, we are dumb, we are lesser. So when we do something big, like become a millionaire, billionaire, etc., like Oprah Winfrey, etc., what happens? It gets a ton of attention because black people are thought of as poor, as uneducated, as stupid. So when we do become the first to do something, it's newsworthy. Why? Because we want to show people what we're capable of. That's facts. We don't need to talk amongst ourselves about racial issues. If we don't have white, Hispanic, and Asian support, nothing has changed. We can complain amongst ourselves as long as we want to. Oh, white people are bad. Asian people treat us bad at the beauty supply store. Okay, but if you don't make your problem known to the people that are causing the problem, it ain't gonna do shit for you. You see what I'm trying to say? Most of the people that are watching that video, they've been asking themselves, how can I date an Asian man? Why don't Asian men like me? They wanted to know. That's how they got recommended my video. Some of you moved to Asia to do that, and I ain't even finna get on you for that. Then you're mad that somebody makes a video answering the question that you had. Don't click on it then. The fact that you clicked on it and then left a comment, you're helping my video get promoted. Doesn't matter if you left a dislike. It's engagement. You did something with my video. Don't like it, don't watch it. Or better yet, maybe you should watch it and listen to what I said before you get offended. I literally talked about how even us as black people, we have stereotypes, things that we think about Asian people. Most black women do not like and will never date an Asian man, not because they can't, but they don't even want to. So it actually goes both ways. Black women complain about not being able to get married, etc. But they turn their heads to the idea of dating an Indian man, of dating a Chinese man, of dating a short man. They've decided they'd rather be single than be with somebody like that. Not you, but most people. Likewise, most Asian men have decided they would rather be single than date or marry a black woman. And a lot of it has to do with what they've been taught culturally. We are poor, we are unattractive, we're this, that, and the other, our attitudes this way, our bodies look this way, etc. That's what they've been taught. There are plenty of Asian people that love black people, not even inside of a fetishizing way, but they truly do want to be educated, and they understand that Africa is not a country type mindset. I've dated Japanese people that knew more about black people worldwide than I did. It was actually kind of cute. It was amazing. You can actually learn some stuff from dating some people that truly do love you. Interested in your culture, interested in your race. And I ain't even finna get into all of that type of crap with you. Make another video on that, but I'm done. I'm not gonna address this again. Anyway, watch the video, read my blog post, read my comments, listen to understand, not to respond. I never said I'm not gonna date an Asian man again. I never said I'm gonna leave Japan. I never said that I hate Asian people. I literally gave a disclosure, I think at the very beginning of the video, talking about how this video is not an attack on Asian people. I'm literally talking about I don't put them on a pedestal, why I don't fetishize after their race. And that I understand that while I might like some people, even the people that I like, they can very much indeed be racist. I imagine there's people that I probably dated in the past that after breaking up with me, they probably said racist things, not even realizing it. Or even before meeting me, prior to meeting me. The same people that have no problem dating me possibly made fun of people at school for having dark skin when they came back from summer. I got a little tan right now. That's my issue that I have. That's scary. Dating someone not knowing that they're racist. Where I'm from, it's normally pretty clear. Yes, some white people can hide that they're racist too. But generally speaking, especially on dating apps, if somebody's racist, they will either immediately send you a racist message, or they just won't talk to you at all. They will make it very clear they're not interested. I've seen people have profiles saying that they don't want to date black people. Can't say the same thing in Asia. I've literally had people that will like, I never send out likes, people that will like me first, message me, super like me. And then because I decide I don't want a second date, or I don't even go on a date with you, I just decide, oh, I'm too busy to stay, we have to reschedule, whatever. Or I never reply to any of your messages. You just keep stalking me on Instagram or whatever other app like Scout, etc. And then you send me racist messages like that. That's scary. So I'm done. I'm going on the loop talking about the stuff. I'm finished. People are just dumb. I can say whatever I want to over and over and over again, and people still won't listen. They still won't read it, and they'll still complain about it because they don't want to listen to me. They don't want to listen to what you have to say. People just want to argue with you, and they don't know what they're talking about. And for any dumb person watching this video, this is not an attack on dark-skinned black women. I'm not sugarcoating shit. I'm acknowledging what I saw in my comment section, what I saw in my DMs, what I saw in my emails. And if you'd like for me to post a video showing you exactly what I saw in these people's profile pictures, I would gladly do that too, so people want to play dumb with me. I know the black people are going to get mad, oh, you ain't talking about dark-skinned black women, because it's exactly who said it. And why it matters is because it's ironic seeing people that would be treated even worse than I get treated trying to defend racists. And how a lot of these people, specifically people with dark skin, have much stronger feelings about colorism and about racism that they receive from white people living abroad in Europe, and in their home countries in Europe or in America. They understand that. And they understand how ignorant it would sound for me to say that those problems don't exist, because I haven't really dealt with them. I've had my fair share of moments, but very minimal. Normally, white men, drool over me. Because like I said, I check off all the boxes. I'm not too dark. I'm not too black. I look in between. I can pass for being biracial. That's what I'm getting at. So, whatever. This is going to go over people's head. I ain't finna go through all that crap. I said what I said. I ain't sugarcoating shit. I'm married to a Japanese man. It ain't no damn secret. You get you a ring, bitch. Don't worry about me. So, I'm done. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, leave a comment down below. Yeah. And of course, my social media links, everything's in the description box below. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Comic95. I have a Snapchat and TikTok at Comic the Savior, a blog at Comic95.com, and a Facebook fan page at Comic95 the Savior. That's all for this video. If you want to hear more rants and stuff about, living in Japan, dating, working, studying, etc., I have a YouTube playlist from just about everything that you could think of. You can check that out as well by going to my YouTube channel's homepage by clicking on my, my username. All of that stuff is there. If you have any video suggestions or questions, you can leave me a comment below on this video, or you can send me an email, and I will try my best to make a video answering your questions. So thank you for listening, and thank you for watching, and I hope you'll watch another video.